The final score: Wrexham 2, Peterborough United 2. Peterborough win 4-2 on penalties, and well, we're not going to Wembley this time, at least not in this competition. Semi-final defeat in the Virtue Trophy. 8 consecutive semi-finals in all competitions that we've won. It's quite a remarkable record, but it ends there. And it ends, I'd say, unnecessarily, because we had control of that game. Having said that, I wouldn't say that it was an unfair result by any stretch of the imagination. I think Peterborough at the very least deserved not to lose, and the way we lost it in the end ultimately was rather galling. So big rotation, 8 changes from the sides that won at Mansfield. Peterborough didn't rotate so much. They do have players cup tied though, and they do anyway have a very young squad who are on the edge of relegation, but for the second time in recent weeks they came to the racecourse and played very, very well. Having said that, I still felt pretty comfortable when we were 2-0 up with not that long left, not least because, without wanting to characterise them, look where they are on the table. They're a team that plays some really nice football, have some really good young players, but they're still learning their craft at a professional level. And the truth of the matter is that, well, they look like the sort of side that you would admire, that were easy on the eye, that you enjoy watching, but that ultimately don't really take their chances, don't make the most of their opportunities, which is why they're in a scrap to survive. But then, for a few reasons, they did take a couple of opportunities, and Wrexham need to be disappointed in themselves. But having said that, Peterborough played well and earned their opportunity. The opening chances all fell to Peterborough. They controlled possession, like I said. They're a young technical team. They like to prioritise keeping hold of the ball. They had some good options up front. Odo on the left flank was particularly lively, as was Malik Mothersill playing off to striker. And of course Hayes on the right, who kept once the cousin on his left foot, was very busy scurrying around. And in midfield they moved the ball well. They controlled possession nicely, and we couldn't really get at them. But there was a sense that, we've been in these sorts of situations. We can control them, and then we can strike when we need to, just as we did against them in the league when they played very well, but we got the late winner. But like I said, the early chances as well come to Peterborough. Corner swept to the far post. They block off effectively, and Fernandez, big centre-back on loan from Man City, is unmarked at the far post and basically makes a bit of a hash of it. The coaches say head the ball downwards. He heads it too far downwards, right down to his feet, and it just bounces harmlessly up. It's a great opportunity. They get another set-piece chance, a free kick on the left-hand side, just ripped in and into the crowd, and luckily for Wrexham, Okonkwo manages just about to get to it first and grab her at the second attempt. Then it's a nice piece of play by Jones, the striker, doing really well to beat George Evans in the air and flick it on. Mothersill cuts inside. Otto's made a great run down the left, and if he slides him in, he's one-on-one with Okonkwo and he overhits the pass. We get away with it. That's what I'm saying. They're looking good, but they're also looking like they're not going to take up advantage of the quality that they've got. A long-range speculative shot next by Cipriano, which takes a big deflection off Scar, which defeats Okonkwo. The ball skims the bar, and then from that corner, Fernandez again causing problems, this time running across the near post, but doesn't adjust his head well enough and can only head it the direction he's running and wide of the goal. And so 34th minute, Wrexham do what you sort of think they will do, having dug in and survived all that, take the lead with our first decent attack. It is a decent attack. Cleworth with a fabulous ball from deep down the right channel, and Mo Farl, wow, shoulder to shoulder with the centre-back. He does well to get there first, but he can't shake the centre-back off, but he's alert enough to realise that Jed Steer is off his line, and he finishes by lifting it beautifully over the keeper and into the net. Absolutely tremendous finish by Farl. A pearl of a pass by Cleworth. And Wrexham are ahead, but against a run of play, and indeed, pretty soon afterwards, Peterborough have a chance to equalise. Jones in the right channel, tightish angle, but a powerful shot. Okonkwo does well to parry it, but it comes back out to Hayes, who has a chance to volley it into the net before Okonkwo can recover. He slices it off target. And then again, that level of ruthlessness that the young Peterborough side didn't seem to have. 4 minutes after that, we make our second presentable chance of the game, and it's 2-0. Barnett does ever so well, ripping at a wonderful cross. Marius attacks it in the 6-yard box and just can't quite reach it, but Mendy does so well on the left, keeps it alive. He's calm, pulls it back. It's just behind Marius, who can't control it properly, 6 yards out, but he manages to pretty much kill the ball, and it just rolls gently in front of George Dobson, who scores his first goal for Wrexham, and does pretty well, to be fair, because although he's close range, there is a block coming in, and he's alert enough to realise that he needs to evade that, and he lifts it nicely into the top right corner. And Wrexham are 2-0 up at half-time, and certainly not coasting, because Peterborough are playing some very nice football, and I've got more of the ball than us, and yet, we're looking okay, we're defending pretty well, and we do look whenever we go forwards, especially with Barnett running at his man, like we're going to score. So, yeah, we're looking okay, and this Peterborough side are giving us a lot to admire, but at half-time you're thinking, yeah, they're a bit wet behind the ears though, and they're not going to punish us. Now, Darren Ferguson makes two interesting changes at half-time, bringing on Ehonvien and Sissoko, and the two of them do really well. Sissoko in the double pivot alongside Cipriano. Ehonvien just up in that attacking four, which gave us so many problems at the racecourse when we played at home a few weeks ago. A couple of minutes after they come on, they combine, and it should have been a goal back. Lovely work by Ehonvien on the left-hand side. Knows that Otto's gone and feeds a brilliant ball threaded down the flank. Otto pulls it back perfectly to the edge of the area, and Sissoko in space drills it wide of the left post. He should at least have worked Okonkwo. It was a disappointing effort by him. Cipriano's a chance from a free kick just outside the box, just right of the D, and he puts it over the bar. Then there's an opportunity again for Mothersill after Evans and Cleworth were a bit slack on the edge of their area with the way they exchanged passes. The ball falls to Mothersill, who tries to curl it into the top right corner, can't bring it back quickly enough. On the hour, Wrexham have a chance. Hey, that's a relief. I mean, maybe I'm making it sound a bit worse than it was. Wrexham did have some of the ball as well. We did get into decent positions without putting the ball out to cause the problem. But yeah, actual proper chances are few and far between. This one happens when Harry Ashfield, who is the creative source of a lot of our good moments, gets the ball in midfield and does well to feed it in there. It's part cleared, but Brunt, ball comes at him at an awkwardly high height, beg your pardon, but he nails the volley, and it's a terrific save by Steer, who's on his way down. The ball is coming at him about shoulder height, and he does so well to get a strong arm up to it and push it over the bar. An outstanding save by him. So Wrexham then have a decent spell. Another opportunity. Barnett this time with another fine cross, sweeping it into the far post. Mendy's able to meet it, but his defender has kept tight with him and is able to block it from close range. And with 25 minutes left, we make a triple change. Paul Mullin and Stephen Fletcher coming on for Jack Marius and Mo Farl, and then in midfield Elliot Lee coming on in place of George Dobson. Great receptions, of course, from Mullin back in the team after his shin injury, and Lee back in the team after his road traffic accident. The fans clearly showing how much they value them. And we continue to keep the momentum going. Free kick, left of centre, Mullin curls it round the wall, but too straight. He hit it well, but Steer is able to get behind it. But then, the big moments. 19 minutes left. Hayes with a burst down the right-hand side. Motherstill's brilliant switch picks him out. Wrexham's defence gets things wrong. The left-hand side of it has stepped up, the right-hand side hasn't, and we've got a jagged line. Hayes runs into that space. Okonkwo comes sprinting out, fully committed to try and get there first. Hayes just gets there first, and Okonkwo clears him out. It's a penalty. Ref decides not to give Okonkwo a card, which is maybe a little generous. Mothersill steps up, looks to drill it to his right, and Okonkwo saves it, But just like the last penalty that we faced at Shrewsbury, the rebound bounces off him and the taker is able to get there before the defenders do and score. So Mothersill slots the rebound in. Unlucky Okonkwo, who has now got a 50% penalty saving record for Wrexham. But unfortunately for him, 2 of the 3 saves he's made were scored off the rebound. Within a minute, he could have been facing another penalty. Although robbing Cleworth and feeding the ball into the box, Hayes has a chance from about 10 yards out. It's a good chance. As he's hitting it, he's collided with from behind. His shot is blocked and comes back out and hits it again. He's saved, but like I said, the second contact, it's a clumsy collision, and to me, looks like a penalty, I've got to say. But the referee isn't interested this time. Wrexham get away with that one. We make another change. Ollie Rathbone coming on for Harry Ashfield with 11 minutes yet left as we look to shore things up. And we also make an opportunity. A corner, Lee swings it in. Brunt at full stretch just outside the 6-yard box makes a decent contact on it, but he can't quite steer it between the posts. And then with 6 minutes left, Peterborough threaten it. Honvien again doing really well, driving forwards. He rides Evans' challenge and it's a long-range shot, but he can't keep it down and goes over the bar. 5 minutes left and we're having to work hard now just to protect things. George Evans looks like his race is run. He's not getting much football on his legs and he looks tired. O'Connell comes on for him. Cleworth goes to sit in front of the back 3, but we concede in the first minute of added time a very, very messy goal. And this is a disappointment. They send Fernandez up front. Now, so Peterborough keeping the ball on the floor. They're moving the ball around really nicely. They send their massive centre-back Fernandez up. You wonder whether he's totally clear on what he's supposed to be doing, because in the first minute of added time, he drops back into defence. Almost as if he's not really tracking a run. It seems almost as if he thinks, oh, I've done my thing up front, I'll go back. Darren Ferguson, who is animated throughout, does his nut on the side of the pitch, having a go at Fernandez, screaming at him to get back up the pitch and be a target. Ironically, Peterborough, for the only time in the game, decide they're going to go long. Then, when the big man they've sent up front for the long ball is actually in his own half, and doubly ironically, it works. The ball is launched in by Mills up towards the edge of the area. Brunt misjudges. For me, it's a challenge with Cipriano, who's not a striker that I would expect Brunt to be winning the vast majority of times. It's just stood up there for them to fight for. Brunt is superb in the air. He gets a great leap in. On this occasion, he gets a great leap in, but he makes it too soon, whether it's the tension of the moment, I don't know. But he's up too soon and he's on his way back down when the ball arrives. Cipriano nods it down nicely. Honvien's there and he gets a bit of luck in that he tries to reach for it, gets a foot to it, can't really control it, but he knocks it off Cleworth's chest. It drops kindly for him. That little deflection has wrong-footed Scar, so he can't do anything about it. Brunt sees there's real danger and comes charging across, but looks to make the block, which would mean fine if Honvien's looking to hit it, but Honvien's calm and just sidesteps him. Brunt flies past him and Honvien can't miss. He's 6 yards out. Okonkwo's beaten and he slots the ball home. And we have penalties. Now, we have brought on 3 penalty takers, of course, in Lee, Mullin and Fletcher, but unfortunately for Wrexham, it doesn't start well. Honvien goes first. Okonkwo's very unlucky. He goes the right way. And as we know, with the length of his arms and legs, if Okonkwo goes the right way, he's got a chance, but it's a beautiful penalty. Honvien drives it in off the post right-hand side. We front-load our penalty configuration. Those 3 penalty takers are the first 3 takers. Mullin goes first, goes for power, and Steer doesn't commit and is able to go down to his right and parry. So it's 1-0 to Peterborough. But Mothersill steps up and Okonkwo saves it. Again, he saved 2 penalties from the same man in one night. And great. Fletcher steps up, and that's a nice penalty from Fletcher. 1-1 after 2 penalties each. We're laughing. Ryan de Havilland has been brought on right at the end of added time purely for the penalties. And he sends Okonkwo the wrong way. Elliot Lee then steps up and doesn't make a good contact on it at all. Steer down to his right, saves it. When young Mills steps up and drills his penalty into the roof of the net, it's 3-1, and we've reached that point you get to in every penalty shootout where everything's now got to go right for one side or the other for them to turn it round. We've got to score both of ours, and Peterborough are going to have to miss their last one. Well, Mendy fulfills his part of the deal. He steps up and sends Steer the wrong way, 3-2, but Cipriano keeps his nerve, the Peterborough skipper, and scores, and cue terrific celebrations from Peterborough, who got through to Wembley despite their struggles in the league. I don't know, I mean, people have been saying things like the substitutions, the triple substitutions sort of killed us. You know, with hindsight, I would agree we looked okay before the substitutions, maybe lost a bit of momentum. But without hindsight, it seemed like a reasonable thing to do at the time. Certainly the crowd were responding very well to the players coming on. I don't know. We looked a little bit like a rotated team that wasn't quite clicking. But to be fair, we were always going to rotate. We've got to the semi-finals doing that. And this is essentially the basis of the side that looked so good against Port Vale, for example, and did well against Bolton. So I think there's a lot of hindsight in the criticism of what happened. It's just that we had a good situation and we made fundamental errors which were punished, and that's football. Looking at the individual performances, Okonkwo had a decent game, I thought. He saved a penalty, makes a couple of other good saves as well. Saves a penalty and again in the shootout, but you can't blame him for not winning that one. The centre-backs didn't have the best of days, perhaps. Kluivert did a lot of good things, actually, both defensively and carrying the ball forwards, but also had a couple of little sketchy moments which are very unlike him. In the middle, Scar was solid, didn't do anything remarkable, didn't do anything that he was culpable for, and Brunt had a strange one again, just made a couple of mistakes, and that mistake for the equaliser was one that really you wouldn't expect him to make, in all honesty. The wing-backs, Barnett, you'd like to see him getting a bit more service. He had to do more defensively than going forwards. He did put some good quality in, though, and again, defensively, he was solid. Mendy had a good game, I thought. He was very adventurous going forwards too. The wing-backs both defended well. There were not a huge amount of problems coming from the flanks. It was when they cut in from wide they caused issues. George Evans, sitting in the hole, did some good things. He's intelligent use of the ball, hasn't he? Made some good interventions in the first half, just intercepting when Peterborough were threatening. But I think he tired a bit. Like I said, lack of time on the pitch. He tired a bit in the second half and was less effective. Dobson, man of the match? Yeah, don't see why not. Got the goal. Worked his usual good shift when he's playing in that right-hand side of the midfield free, and gave us a bit of control. His use of the ball was good as well. Yeah, I think man of the match for him, I would argue. Although Harry Ashfield, also a contender. Ashfield looked lively and sharp, and as Phil Parks said afterwards, he showed that he can cope in senior football. It'll be interesting to see whether he gets a bit more of a role in the league now with Andy Cannon out injured. But yeah, Ashfield was lively and was on the edge of the box, head up, looking to create. And I like the way he presents the ball. He's good performance. He's a real talent, isn't he? And then up front, well, Mo Farrell did well again. You know, when he gets his chances in this tournament, and he's the only Wrexham player who's played in all the games, scored 3 in 7. Yeah, to be fair, he's taken those opportunities. He's beat players on occasions with his skill. Did well in the air. Great finish for the goal. And I'm enjoying Mo Farrell, who is, for me, looking less and less like a rough diamond and more like a player who's, developing some very, very useful habits and qualities. I like the look of him. Alongside him, Jack Marius. It was like every game since he's come back from injury for Marius. He plays well. He makes great runs. He holds the ball up. The great runs don't seem to be getting the service a lot of the time. So I like the look of Marriott, but you sort of think, play him in. I have a lot of sympathy for him because I think he looks like he's in the same formulas at the start of the season, but we don't seem to be able to hit him as well as we have done in the past. Now, people are complaining about the substitutions. I don't think you complain about the substitute's performance, to be fair. The strikers didn't get all that much to work with, really. So Fletcher won his fair share of headers, but didn't get any crosses to attack. Mullin made some good runs, had that free kick, which he struck well, but was too straight. Lee, again, hard working in midfield in the short spell that he had, but none of them did anything wrong. But yeah, the momentum, maybe did die a little bit when those changes were made. Rathbone came on and O'Connell late on. Neither of them really had enough time to influence anything. So, a shame for Wrexham. We don't get to go to Wembley, but, it's worse things in the world, aren't there? And the league is so much more important. It's not the worst thing in the world to just focus on that. With the final score of Wrexham 2, Peterborough United 2. Wrexham losing 4-2 on penalties. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.